Welcome to Wagons West on Thursday, August the 1st. It is a new month, and the summer has been a blur. Lots going on this month. I'll be off tomorrow to Tumbler Ridge to interview some more people from search and rescue and such as a part of that Monkman Pass documentary that took me away from you lovely people at the beginning of July, 1 month ago. And then I'll be shooting a pro rodeo bronc rider on Saturday, and we have, of course, our town here in Valley View has our local rodeo the following weekend. I'll be picking up my stepson at the airport just in time for that. So lots of stuff going on, but I will be here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Excuse me. July has been kind of touch and go. I had a lot on the go, so I wasn't here. Speaking of the Monkman Pass documentary, I will have the producer, director, and the other camera operator and some of the hiking crew will be joining me on August 22nd to talk about the experience, to talk about the documentary and future plans for that. So make sure you tune in for that one. It's going to be exciting. Anyways, I digress. Just came off of the Road Rage Terror Tour, Calgary and Edmonton events, and it was just a great experience to go down and photograph those and to meet Jeremy and Alex and Derek and Morgan and crew in person. You don't know what to expect when you meet someone from internet world or TV in person, but they're just really genuine, cool people. So I believe they have some maybe Quebec and Maritime shows left. So if you get a chance, go to the grift.shop, pick up your tickets if it's not too late already, and you'll really enjoy yourself there. At those shows, I didn't count how many, but a number of people come up to me at each of the shows to say that they watch regular watchers of Wagons West and that you enjoy the show. And that was just really encouraging. So if you're one of those people, thank you for coming up and telling me you enjoy the show. I really appreciate that. And I aim to please. So anyways, so tonight, before we get to that, I have been noticing a lot of people also going over to subscribe to my Substack at tjkennedyphoto.substack.com. And I really appreciate you guys doing that. Whether you're a free subscriber or whether you are a annual paid subscriber or a monthly paid subscriber, I really do appreciate all of your support. If you do want to chip in the $5, I guess that's the cost of about 2 coffees a month. I will be providing a lot of photo stories over there. So some interesting stories with some beautiful photographs to illustrate. And I appreciate you guys over there. If you are joining us today for the first time, you can find this show and you can find my stuff on various social media platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and we're on Substack. All of them are at TJ Kennedy Photo. You can see it below my name there. So search that out on your chosen platform. I am the most active on X, and I am very active on Substack. The other ones are just there, kind of. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching. Please jump on over to Rumble because we like Rumble better than YouTube because they're not as censorious. And I also have the ability to accept Rumble rants on Rumble, and I can't accept YouTube super chats yet. So if you do want to give a Rumble rant tonight in the chat, I will read those at the end of the episode tonight. So stick around for that. So tonight, Stuntman behind the scenes. Well, I am in Alberta now, but I moved here in 2021 from Ontario, and I was pretty much Toronto-centric my whole life. Born there, grew up there, moved out to Hamilton when I was 4 years old. I didn't, my family did, and lived out there, but pretty much back and forth to Toronto for work and for family and such like that. And in 2012, I was actually engaged, and my fiance wanted desperately to be an actor. She was a terrible one, but it was her dream, so I supported it, and we moved it back into Toronto. And I got work there and kind of had a life there, built a life there. We ended on a sour note, but I thought, might be interested into getting into acting. As some of you know, I've had a long martial arts and security career. I've competed in Muay Thai, Irish stick fighting, been a bouncer for a long time, did a lot of training all over the place. I've been around the world teaching, and I just have an obsession and love for martial arts. And I thought it'd be great to get into action movies, maybe not just as an actor, but even as a fight choreographer. And so that was kind of what I was going for. And I got we'll call it a big break. I got my feet wet into some independent productions in Toronto. and never was a union actor. So they have your union and they have independent, and union pays a whole lot more. But as an independent, it's kind of big fish, small pond, where the directors I worked with gave me a lot of creative control. And also because of such small budgets, as a fight choreographer, you also kind of get billed as stunt coordinator. So you're responsible for stunts, safety. We didn't have any big rigging and harnesses and stuff like that. Nothing major, but more along the lines of fight stunts and related things. So I thought it'd be cool tonight just to kind of take you behind the scenes with me. I have some photos loaded up here and some scenes that I choreographed that I was stunt coordinator for, and I thought I'd tell you some of the unknown stories and just take you through a walk through memory lane for me, and just really, I was always interested in it, but I never realized how much fun it would be. A lot of work, long days, 12, 16-hour days sometimes of going hard, but it was just a whole lot of fun. So anyways, the first production I want to take you to is the first one that I worked on, which was called Raider Origins. And this was a Tomb Raider. It was when the Tomb Raider movie was coming out in 2013. And it was just a fan film, so it was nothing major, but it got some festival plays, got to work with some great people on that, and made some good friends on that set. Some of them I'm still good friends with to this day. And it was just a pleasure to work with them. So kind of the format for tonight I want to do is I want to take you through some photos, explain the photos, and then after that we'll watch one or two scenes from each of the films, and I can try to avoid copyright strikes. I don't own the copyright to any of these. However, I've been granted permission to share these, and I'm going to be adding my commentary as a fight choreo stunt coordinator on them, so that should keep me safe. So anyways, Raider Origins. Here we go. I have to go all the way up to the top here of my photo list. Boom. Here we go. Okay, so I was hired to not just be the stunt coordinator on this fight choreographer, but also to play the role of one of the mercenaries. I actually auditioned for the role of head mercenary, which if you look at the bottom left, you see the Asian guy there. That's actually Simu Liu. You may know him as Marvel's Shang-Chi. So I got to work with Simu on that, and that was pretty cool. He's actually a really nice guy. And, we've had our differences, I guess, political opinions and whatnot, but he's just a genuine, sweet guy. And I really appreciated working with him. And he actually hired me for another project, which you'll see later on in this episode, which was a music video where I did some stunts for that. So we'll check that out as well. To the right of Simu, you have Jason Bork, who's the assistant director. There's me in the tank top on the far right and the baseball cap holding the shotgun. Beside me is Wolf. Don't know anything else about his name except it was Wolf. And he's a paintball YouTuber, paintball guy, paintball, pseudo celebrity, and also super nice guy. Beside Wolf, you have Malak. As one of the mercenaries. Beside her, in the sunglasses and the shaved head, you have Nick. And Nick became an excellent photographer. You can find him on Instagram at unsolicited Nick pics. And he became a really, really good friend to this day. And that's what I was talking about. One of those guys that I met there, and we just got on really well. And he actually came and helped me on a number of other projects, which you'll see as part of a stunt team. So it was really great to connect with him. And beside him is his cousin James. James is up there on the top by the driver's seat there of that truck. So we take a lot of photos like these when we're on set, when we're not required and we're just killing time, going around. This was actually filmed in a parking lot in Scarborough, Ontario. There was a lot of green screen, a lot of special effects after to make it look like we were in the middle of the jungle. But you can see kind of beside me, underneath the tail of the helicopter there, you see those power lines. We were just in a Scarborough parking lot there. And up here you have, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the guy's name on the left, but there he is, Nick right there, the prominent figure here. There's me with my big bald head in the back. And beside me is Ben. Ben became another good friend I actually brought into this project. And he actually was the coach, not at the time, but years later, he was the coach for the Canada Wolverines rugby team and brought me on as a defensive movement coach to help with that. So really cool. So yeah, well, actually, there you go. Basically, in one frame, you have the two good friends that I made on this set there. There is myself here, just posing after some makeup was done with Irina. Irina played the role of Lara Croft, and she's super nice girl, super fit girl, by the way. And that was kind of, I think, how she got into this role, was her role as a yoga and fitness instructor. And so she was really cool to work with. And she was just really up for anything. Like, she, you know, it'd be really cold. She'd be in the water. She wouldn't care. She'd work long hours. She'd do anything he asked of her, you know, for the sake of the project. And it was just really, really cool. This is just a fun little picture from our training session. I was teaching at the time at Extreme Couture Gym in Etobicoke. I was teaching my self-defense classes. And so we had the octagon and the matted wrestling area there where we can do and practice our fight choreography and such. And so we had to give me a little rear naked choke there. On that same day, there's Arena down there with the practice shotgun. I'm standing behind her. To the left there, standing up, is Jerome Cruin, and he was the director and producer of this project. And beside him was one of my best friends, Mike May, wearing one of Luke Holloway's Raw Combat shirts. So he came and helped us with the fight choreography and helped get Arena prepped for her role. This is just kind of a behind-the-scenes shot. You'll see the actual scene where this fight happened, but I was playing a mercenary. And one of the funny things in a couple of these films is you're doing the role, you're saying the lines or whatever it is you're saying, but they decide for whatever reason after the fact to actually do voiceovers. And so my character in this film was actually voiced over by the director, Jerome Cruin. So when you hear him making his expressions and stuff like that, it was actually done in post-production, and that wasn't actually me. So for one of the fights, we had Arena gets in a fight with that mercenary, and this is supposed to be her first kill, first time ever having to kill somebody to protect herself. And you know, I choreographed it so that she'd get on top. She had found a rock on the ground and then basically smash his face in with the rock. And so how do we get, on a low budget, how do we get there to be lots of blood spatter and blood effects besides CGI? Well, you get a watermelon, you hollow it out a little bit, and you fill it with a bunch of fake blood, cinema blood, which is basically like sugar water. It's like glucose-y sugar water. And so the splatter you'll see in the scene, by the way, guys, there's a lot of violence you're going to see in these clips. So if you're squeamish or if the algorithm doesn't like it, just a heads up, fair warning, there's going to be some violence. But yeah, so a lot of the blood splatter was actually watermelon chunks and fake blood there. And this is the aftermath. As I said, it's really sticky, really glucosey, sugary stuff, so it stuck to my face there. But as you can see, I was having a whole lot of fun. Here, we're just waiting to set up. We have one of the big jump scenes, and you're not going to see the jump scene. I mean, any of these movies you can go search out. They're all available for you out there on the interweb somewhere. We had a green screen where Lara was jumping from picnic table to picnic table, and we superimposed it so it looked like she was jumping off this massive cliff. So again, movie magic, right? We're just in some industrial parking lot here, but it was really cool. So those are all the pictures I have for Raider Origins. So I'm going to show you the fight scenes. I might end up pausing it to talk you through some of the things if it comes to mind, but otherwise I'll let it play through. And I believe I spliced two of the scenes together. One is that nighttime that Lara Croft's Irina's first kill. And then following that was kind of the closing scene where she encounters the mercenaries. And I just clipped it to my one little scene there where I go grab her by the hair and she kind of takes me out with like a pickaxe, I think, and then steals my gun. Anyways, you'll see that. So I'm just going to have to share my whole screen. So bear with me while I get this. I want to make sure I share the audio. Entire screen, share audio. Okay, here we go. Don't move. So that's the director Jerome Cruin's voice there. Nice. Big punch. Pull her off the ground.
I got her. She's in sector. Oh, come here. Where do you think you're going?
Yeah. Starting to choke her. She hits my head with a rock she found on the ground, and away we go. There's your blood splatter from the watermelon. And here she is just trying to reconcile her first kill. She's never done that before. And second scene. And there you are. Excellent times. Here we go. Stop sharing. There we go. So that was Raider Origins. That was my first experience on set, and it was a whole lot of fun. Couldn't have asked for a nicer crew to work with. And yeah, guys, you can also put your comments in there in between clips. I'll take a look to see if there are any. And again, Rumble Rants I'll read at the end of the episode. Next up was my next major project, which was Extraction Day in 2014. This was filmed from High Rise Studios in Waterloo, Ontario. This was an excellent, a fun project production to be a part of, but it was also very, very, very sad for me because there was, and you'll see some of the photos, but you won't see the footage because there was one day we went, it was a 14-hour day. I had one of my friends come out to help me to be one of the bad guys. And it was a 14-hour day, hardcore stunts. We had a big stairwell chase. I have two still shots from this day. Just like blood squibs, bullets, knives, crazy choreography, and then the footage on the hard drive got corrupted, and so that whole 14-hour day was for nothing because it never actually got included in the film. And there's actually another scene, which I have one still from here, where there was a fight in a pool hall, or like a little tavern with some pool tables, and you'll see some of the pictures here of the director and his brother. His brother was the star of the film, where again, I choreographed the fights, but he's like a lot taller than I am. He's got to be like 6'2", 6'3", and we did one stunt where in between a brick wall and the pool table, he grabbed me from behind because I'm going to like choke him. He grabs me from behind by the head and throws me over his shoulders onto the floor in between the pool table and the brick wall. We did that take, I swear, like 15 times. And, you know, each time we did it, I got more nervous and more nervous because the more you do it, the more chance of you getting hurt is, because am I going to bounce off the table? Am I going to hit the wall? We had some foam mats, like just kind of really thin foam mats on the floor, no like protective gear on me or anything like that because I was retarded. And, but luckily no injuries, but also that was one of those scenes that got corrupted and got lost. I only have one scene actually still, intact, and that was you'll see it's a cabin scene. We'll play that in a bit, but let me take you through some of the stills. So we were playing an extraction team. I'm third from the left there, and of course I'm a self-defense guy and never knew much about guns and how to hold them, how to shoot them, so I was just kind of learning as I go. So if you're a gun guy and you see something that I'm doing incorrectly, please be patient with me. I was just a dumb actor doing my best. And there was no experts on scene there to correct me, so it is what it is. But we had fun with this production. So it looks like I'm a SWAT cop there. I am a bad guy in this movie. The good guy is actually the star of the film, a protagonist who kind of loses his memory and is trying to kind of piece it together while he wakes up in amidst this kind of a chaotic scene, and he's just got to figure it out as he goes. There's a nice little close-up of yours truly, with my little bullpup there and in my get up there. And this was filmed, this scene I think was actually filmed at like some empty warehouse in Cambridge. This is what I'm talking about. Look at me teacupping that gun. That's not how you hold the gun. I know that now, but I didn't then, and it didn't really matter. I don't think anybody watching this movie was picked up on too much of that. But this is that cabin scene in which I do have, and I'll show you shortly. This is an extension of that cabin scene where I have a fight with the lead in the film. And I don't think I ever told anybody this, but I'll tell you guys, is we're in the fight in this small cabin, and I choreographed the fight and everything. And there was this one part where I was supposed to pick him up and basically like run him into the wall. The cabin was, as you may see in the film, it was kind of like held up on cinder blocks, like I had a cinder block foundation. You could see like right underneath it. And the walls were like paper thin. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun and great for the movie if I could run him through the wall as hard as I could, and we both went fucking flying out the cabin onto the grass. And so I tried to get him as hard as I could. We did put a hole in the wall, but the walls were too strong to go all the way through. So sorry, Jeremy, if you're watching this. It was doing it for your movie, and it ended up being okay in the end, I guess. Here we are at that warehouse in Cambridge. We didn't really have a GoPro or a head mount, so the director jimmied up this motorcycle helmet DSLR rig where it would be kind of point of view. I couldn't see where I was going, but it was a shot using point of view with the DSLR there in front of me, and it was really heavy on the neck, and so they rigged it up with some duct tape and some rope there on that motorcycle helmet. Coffee is good stuff. And this is later on in that same day. That sweat is real sweat. It wasn't like movie mist or anything. It was hot as heck that day. And this is just a still from one of the scenes where we're searching in the warehouse for the guy that we're searching for. Now, this still is what I was talking about when I said this epic fight scene where it got lost, file or footage got corrupted, hard drive got lost, something of that sort. But it was a whole 14-hour day where they didn't use. And my buddy Mike Dika here did an excellent job. This shot was when I was chasing him from one room to another. We had a big locker room fight, and I smashed him into the wall, not on purpose, but it was like blue cinder block, blue painted cinder block. And his head got smashed into the cinder block wall so much so that the blue paint came off on his head. And this scene right here, he's running up the stairs. I run after him and I stab him right in the calf muscle and pull the knife all the way down, kind of like the Raid style. I think that was the inspiration, actually, was the Raid, where you stab him in the calf and pull it all the way down. And we had a nice little indie movie squib. So a blood squib is just something when you shoot it explodes and blood comes out. We're low budget, so you got to get kind of creative. So we actually got a bunch of condoms and you fill them with the fake movie blood. So then you strap the condom underneath his pants, whatever. And when you smash it, the blood just explodes everywhere. So for any of you indie movie makers, you can go get yourself a box of condoms, fill them with blood. And if you leave them on the sidewalk after, you will leave people wondering, no, don't actually do that. That's fucking gross. Here's this locker room fight I was talking about. You can kind of see just discolored a bit, but you see the paint on the back there. So yeah, this was our big fight that led to that staircase. Here is, you'll see this fight happening. This is just me from behind the sound guy with the audio boom during that cabin fight scene. That guy with a blurred head in between there that the lead actor's fighting is my friend Nick from Raider Origins. So I brought him up for this. Though he's actually on a bunch of projects here, which you'll see. And he's just really awesome to work with because he's great at following directions. He's great at taking a hit, and he could hurt himself and it doesn't even matter. I remember I did one film with him, was for his cousin, and we were shooting for 12 hours. And the first scene, right in the morning, he rounded a corner, slipped, fell like with his ribs on basically like a garbage bin, and actually cracked his ribs. And just that hurt. He didn't really complain much other than that. But his ribs are cracked, and he still filmed for the rest of the day without a complaint. So that's the kind of stuntman he is. That's the kind of stunt guy you want. So shout out to Nick for that. That was pretty awesome. And there he is again here with for the cabin scene, ready to take his shot. And this shot here, this is him and I at the premiere of Extraction Day, where it was the first time I discovered that all that footage was missing. I brought everybody out that was a part of the film. From my side, from my contribution, and they're like, my one friend Mike came out to see the movie, and he's like, "Yo, where's the scene?" And we asked, and it was not included at all in the entire movie. And so he came out for the whole day and was never included in the credits. It was never included in the film, but he was there, I promise you. Okay, so here's I'm about 5'11". So these are the director on the right, Matt Ninneber, and Jeremy Ninneber on my right. The picture it's on the left. And so when I say that he was picking me up by the head and throwing me over his shoulder, that's the height I was coming from, full standing height onto the ground. So that's why when they did it multiple times, it made me a little nervous. This is that pool hall fight scene. So you can kind of see in the top left corner under the boom mic there. That's where the fight was happening against the brick wall. And actually, you see where the one cameraman standing in the middle of the frame. You see the pool table and the brick wall beside him. That's where I was being thrown from head height in between those two things there, straight onto a foam mat on the floor. And I would not be exaggerating if I said we did that take 15 times. Here is us once again at Extreme Couture. We were doing some training there. So you have all the guys there for the film. I'm in the middle there. Beside me on my right, on the picture's left, is Jeremy. And then beside Jeremy is Benjamin. Benjamin, you'll remember, was my friend from Raider Origins. So this happens in film a lot. It's you kind of find people you like to work with, and you continue to give them projects and stuff because they're reliable, they're fun to work with, and that they do a good job. So all these guys I brought out to help to be a part of the stunt team did an amazing job. They made me look great, and they made the production look great. So I appreciate you guys for all that you've done. So Extraction Day, okay. Let me pull up the fight scene from Extraction Day. I only have one. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Share screen. Entire screen. Share audio. All right. Extraction Day, guys. Again, the one cabin scene. Again, I didn't know what the hell I was doing with guns. And when I throw him into the wall, remember I was trying to send him through the wall and go with him. I thought it would be pretty awesome. And we never, well, you'll see. This was a lot of fun. Oh, shoot. No, this is the whole movie. Okay, I'm going to scan through. Da, 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 da. The cabin fight scene. Oh, here it is. Okay. Cabin fight scene right here.
Sometimes I just pick up crazy people on the side of the road and see if I can fix them up.
I don't advise doing that, by the way.
How's that working for you?
Scary stuff.
Here we go. The ominous music.
It's a dangerous place you're in. A man don't know who he is or where he.
Okay, you can see like the stilts that the cabin's up on.
Right, just keep pressure on your move. All right, stay with me, okay? Hey, keep your eyes open.
Any trouble?
Oh, went back too far. Here we go. There's me with my gun, look like an idiot. Here we go. All right, here's the part where I try to throw him. Nope, back down on the ground. Here it is. And here Nick goes after him. Slow motion hero run. And like a ninja, he shows up behind him. So one of the things that in this movie I remember trying to do was head stomps, neck breaks. They never wanted to do that. They thought that was kind of too violent. So in my most recent film, which we'll get to at the end, they went full hog wild, allowed total creative control, and allowed the little violent streak in me to come out and kind of be celebrated. So that was really cool. But that's Extraction Day. Fun little film. It was just unfortunate that a lot of the footage didn't get used because it got lost, but it is what it is. Sometimes that happens. The importance of backups. Saturday Night is a music video from a band called The Wooden Sky. This was in Toronto. One of Drake's video producers was doing this one as well. And just kind of, again, it was like an all who you know. It was a friend of a friend that was doing it. And so he recommended me to come in and do stunts for one little, if you can call it a fight scene. It's basically we had to play a couple of drunk guys beating up on some guy on the street. And once again, I have, where are we down here? Boom. There's Nick and Tosh. They were the guys that came and helped me for this. And this was just at a bar. We went and had some beers right after we finished shooting The Wooden Sky. So I will share with you The Wooden Sky little segment. Wooden Sky, here we go. Share screen. Sorry, guys, it's taken a little bit for me to switch between here and share screen and share audio and all the stuff. Here we go. Okay, fight scene for the Wooden Skies video Saturday night. So Tosh is getting beat up. I'm holding him there while Nick punches him. Very complex, I know. And we didn't plan for that bus to go by. That was just added value. That was just a City of Toronto bus that was shot in Scarborough out on Kingston Road, and one of the night buses went by. So that was my first music video. Just still, it was a small part, but it was just a lot of fun to go. And kind of choreograph just a tiny little fight scene, if it was for 5 seconds, and you know, paid well. And that was that. That's the thing about, no, that wasn't a union project, but union projects, I did one project. It was 4 hours of my time to record a commercial, sit on a couch and pretend to talk about a product that I like. And that paid $3,000 for 4 hours of time. Best paid gig I ever had in acting. And all I had to do was sit down, put on a sweater and like a button-up shirt, and pretend I was married to the chick beside me, and talk about, it was actually a couple's vibrator, the We Vibe. So whatever the subject matter, it paid a lot for not a lot of work. And so that was kind of the trade-off. Okay. After the Wooden Sky, we have another music video I went right to called The Filth by Dream Jefferson. And the person that brought me on this one was actually Simu Liu. So I've worked with him twice, Shang-Chi there. He was actually the stunt coordinator for this entire video. And the kind of premise of the video was there's this underground fight league, underground fight circuit, and you pay cash, and then you fight, and then if you win it all, kind of thing. And he had me come and choreograph my own little fight. So I think there was 6 or 7 people to fight, and in that little underground circuit. And I played the character that won the whole thing, that won all the money, won the whole tournament. And so that was pretty cool to go. It was filmed in Hamilton. They had my character dress up in kind of like a steampunk style. It was really weird goggles and stuff like that. But yeah, the band was Dream Jefferson, filmed in Hamilton. And here are some stills from that. This is kind of at the end of the movie when I'm walking out the door. I think he thought that I had more muscles than I did. They wanted me to go topless. I was like, I guess I could go topless and smoke a cigar. And they had this weird little, what do you call it? The chevron or whatever it was. Those little arrows on the top of my head to kind of look like a painted on mohawk. Kind of gay, but here's another kind of shot. You can see me looking down at the fire. So you got that uplighting from the fire. You have that tattoo on, it was a fake tattoo on my head. All those other tattoos are real, but the one on my head, they put one on my back, which you'll see, which is fake. I say steampunk style, so yeah, that's how they styled it. There's a couple of the other fighters there. So I walk in with this like trench coat and these like welder's goggles, basically. That's talking, I think we're just kind of in between takes here, and I'm talking to one of the other fighters and one of the other actors. Again, we're going over, here's some of the choreography, and I think to my left there, that's Simu right there. Just as the stunt coordinator, he's kind of overseeing everything in this production. And here you have the tattoo they just put on my back. I don't even know I think it's skulls, broken skulls or something bleeding into each other. The X on my neck and the 32 and the head tattoo are not real. The only thing real there is that music note. I'm a big jazz nerd. I played trumpet for years, and I love jazz music, so that's a blue note. And I actually like this picture because I never actually get to see that tattoo, and so it's nice to see it every once in a while. So, okay, the filth. So I'll play. I'll try not to play. Maybe I'll play the whole music video. I don't have the copyright for it, so we'll see what I have here. I might have the whole thing, in which case I don't want to play the whole thing. Okay, so I'm not playing the whole thing. That's good. Share screen. Share audio. Share screen. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I do another 16 bars. This drink mixed in with pause, and I dance with the devil like Christine Spa. Kick that raw into the beat jaw. It's a track for the street, like a rail for the street jaw.
I better mute this so I don't get a copyright strike on it. But there we go. Going through some fights. And yeah, fun guys. Again, a lot of these indie productions, you just go there, show up on set, and like these guys, you're just meeting for the first time there. You're doing a rehearsal while lighting is setting up. And so there's not a lot of there. I get to fight Shang-Chi right there. So that was kind of cool. And yeah. That's the guy that looks like Eric Roberts. It gives me the stack of cash. Congratulations, you win. Give him a little tip. There you go. Thanks for your trouble, sir. And then out the door I go. And that was the premise of the video. It was pretty cool. This is a neat scene. By the way, that's basically colored water in that whiskey bottle there. And as a side note, if you do what I do here and douse your paper in whiskey, it will be too wet. It will actually not set on fire. So we had to fake it, kind of. But it was good for the camera. So yeah, this guy just likes to fight. He doesn't care about money, and he burns it all. That was the filth. I forgot to share another scene with you. Speaking of Simu Liu, when we're like I mentioned before, when you're on set, you're waiting sometimes for hours at a time for your turn to do something. And so you got to kind of pass the time. Some people read, maybe you're going on your phone, you're writing, you're having a lot of times you're having a nap. But we did this little fight choreography thing on the side here. Let me just take this banner down. We did this little fight choreography thing on the side here with Simu Liu and Nick, and just kind of in that Scarborough parking lot when we were filming Raider Origins. And I happened to have that because someone thought to film that, and it was a lot of fun. So I will play that little snippet for you. It's only about a minute long. Entire screen, share audio, away we go. Okay, here we go. So doing some choreography with soon-to-be Shang-Chi, my buddy Nick there, who's been with me through most of my film experiences. Smashed my head on the truck there by accident. This is basically what happens on an independent set, where you're walking the actors through their choreography, practicing it a few times. Sometimes you have 20 minutes, sometimes you have 4 hours. And that's just sometimes how it goes. Coming over top, right on here, right on the nose of the mouth, move the slide, pull this down. Nice. Just make some space here. Don't move your head, move your face. You ain't going into space unless you're stabbing. Okay, so that was actually a real knife that Simu had. He really didn't want to use that even if he was careful. So they ended up changing that end. We did a little side project there where he ended up breaking his neck instead of do the fake neck break instead of using the knife because he was a little nervous. That's one thing I learned about actors over stunt people too, as stunt people are kind of used to getting hurt. They're used to putting themselves at risk. They're used to taking a punch in the face. Like it's not a big deal. But actors are more cognizant and more concerned about things like that. So, I mean, it's good for safety. I'm not calling him a pussy or anything like that. Like it's good for safety. And he's, I have a real knife. I'm like, oh, but you got some space between you. You'll be okay. He's like, I really don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, well, we'll do a neck break then. I have a comment here. Yes, sir. Tribe and Train. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for watching the show, guys. Again, we're here every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay. It looks like I did 3 music videos in a row. Exordium Patchum. I'm probably screwing up the pronunciation, but it was like a opera, contemporary opera music video with like on a green screen with fighting. It was really weird. It was supposed to be kind of some surreal dream that was happening that the singer was having and that she was performing through. And I, for the life of me, can't find the actual video online, so I don't even know if it exists anymore, but I have some green screen footage here that I can show you. So this was my get up that day, dressed up like, it was basically a box of like ancient type clothes and stuff like that. And we got to take our picks there. So I picked this, I picked 2 daggers as my weapons. And once again, while they're setting up on the green screen, setting up the cameras and the lights and stuff like that, that's when you and your partner are going over your choreography and just planning what you're going to do. And I was here with Alex. Alex is actually a Wing Chun instructor. So he wasn't, sometimes you're dealing with actors that have never thrown a punch in their life, and you have like an hour to make them look like they're a lethal Jason Bourne type killer. And it's a tall order. And you'll see that in some of the video I show you here from future projects. But Alex knew how to fight. Alex knew what he was doing. So it was just really nice to work with him. And so it was really just trying to learn how to kind of work off each other. And our main thing was like, how do we sell it? Can we sell it like it's a real hit? So here's a bit of us on our fight there. We're kind of hashing things out on the green screen. You have one of the other guys, looks interesting. We have that light and that cell phone in his hand, even though he's dressed like some ancient legionary or Roman warrior or something. Here's a still from our fight. And here I am with John Liao. John Liao is a Wing Chun instructor as well. And I think he runs, I think it's called Black Dragon Kung Fu or Black Dragon something society. And it's his own kind of brand of Wing Chun Kung Fu. But he was the stunt coordinator on this video, on this music video. And so it was really cool to be part of that. I'm wearing a KSCKM shirt, the Kent School of, well, it used to be Commando Krav Maga, but that was from my buddy Tony out in the UK in Kent. And I went to go do a seminar at his school during the UK tour. So most of my t-shirts are from friends that I've done stuff with. So I do have a green screen video. This isn't the official video, but this is just kind of a shot from the cell phone behind the scenes here. I'll show you that because it was the only green screen thing I've ever actually done. And so it was, I thought it was really cool. Boom, here we go. So another cool thing about that is I think the entire thing was shot in like 120 or 240 frames per second or even slower. And so everything was like moving really slow. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, but that's just like a side little note. Now, if you're not a union stuntman or a union actor, you can work on a union set. You have to get a temporary license to do so. I came on a series called The Strain. You may recognize The Strain as Guillermo del Toro's vampire series, and you would be correct. That is exactly what it is. So I got to come on board The Strain as a vampire. I did what was called Special Skills Extra. So Special Skills Extra is neither, you're not an actor, you're not a stuntman, but you're not an extra. You're kind of like in between. You get to hang out with the stuntman, eat with the stuntman. On sets, extras are kind of treated like cattle. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just how they're generally treated. Like they're not, I guess it depends on your production coordinator and the assistant director and stuff like that. But generally they're just kind of herded around and talked to like children and treated like cattle. As a special skills extra, I get to be out of that lot and hang out with the stunt guys, which are like the cool guys. And I got to go to makeup to get dressed up as a vamp and stuff like that. And in the actual scene, you see me for all of like half a second. But again, it was one day of work. Probably did like 8 hours of work or something like that on that set. And, I had like a $900 check show up in my mailbox one day. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I didn't think I was going to get that for doing so little. But that's because it was a union production. Here's a couple of pictures from that. In the bathroom, they're doing the makeup. Yeah, mean mug in there. Yeah, and again, the makeup you can tell is kind of fake, but again, you only see me for all of half a second anyways, and I'm blended in with a crowd of other vampires, so it didn't really matter too much. Now, you see that little vagina-looking thing on my neck. In The Strain, if you've ever seen it, the vampires, like that's like they have like some sort of like thing that shoots out and grabs you, and that's kind of they don't have fangs per se. Here's a still from the scene, and there I am right there. That's the only time you see me, is right there. But I do have the scene. I'll show it to you, and you can see what I mean by like it didn't even almost matter that I was there. Now there was probably 20 of us all together that were there, between stunt guys and extras and stuff. And then they used CGI to kind of put in all the others. So it looks like there was hundreds of vampires there. There was maybe like a dozen to 20 of us there in total. Okay, here we go. Got to work with some cool actors. That was neat. I guess that was neat. But yeah, just love to. That was actually, I was hired on by my friend Don Go, who's a professional stuntman, who's worked on, you know, Four Brothers, Mark Wahlberg. He's worked on the X-Men movies. He's done a lot of major Hollywood productions. And he's also my friend that's a fire breather. So that was pretty cool. One thing I learned from him is that fire breathers, actually, it's kerosene that you use as your fuel. And he's had a problem with teeth falling out. He has to go get dental work done because kerosene will make your teeth fall out. So if you're going to be a fire breather, it's something to watch out for. Okay, the scene from the strain.
As always, your victory was fleeting. Bring me the book and the professor.
So these guys show up. There I am, right there. There it is. Up right there. Why am I a special skills extra? Oh, this was really loud, by the way. So they have these gang members show up and start firing some weapons. Here. This part right here. So they're firing those weapons there. We're underneath the tunnel. It's filmed in Etobicoke, and it was so fucking loud. It was deafening. Why can't an extra just do their job? Why do they need someone with stunt experience to be a special skills extra to get paid more? Well, because the vampires tear apart the van, and so they already had a lot of the metal pulled back, and so there's sharp edges on it, and so because you're great, I mean, you're literally just kind of like flat handing it here and not touching a sharp part, but the potential to get cut by it, you need someone with special skills, which is how not to get cut like a retard. And so that was my special skills extra job there on the strain. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, next project we have this was a real fun one. And again, I'm skipping over some of the other projects I had. I had one called Silent Retreat in 2013 as stunt coordinator, fight choreographer, a couple of other smaller features, small short films and stuff like that. But these are kind of the big ones. Was Defective in 2017. So I got hired on, and I can't remember how I met him, but his name was Ryan, and he knew me from something before. We had crossed paths at something before, and he asked me to come out here to be what they called a suit, which is, this movie was like, where are we? There are super soldiers. Like, here we go. So I'm wearing the suit there, and you have the helmet on, which you'll see in some of the scenes there that we play. But yeah, so basically you're this kind of like super soldier, and it's this dystopian future where you have these super soldier RoboCops that are enforcers. They call them preservers of peace. And, you know, if you have wrongthink, or if you're a political dissident, or if you commit any sort of actual crime, you have 3 strikes, and then you're basically similarly executed. And so I got to come play one of those. Now, I show up on set for the first day of this production. I was on set for probably 3 or 4 days in total of this, choreographed at just 3 or 4 different fights and stunts and stuff like that. And I show up. I meet the director. I never met anybody on set at all this time. I've never met the director. I just show up on set, and it's like, okay, So we have this big hallway that we constructed. They show me this hallway, and I'll show you that fight scene in a moment. We have to set up lights, and we have to do some makeup and stuff. It's going to take us about 4 hours. Okay, in between then, we need to get the main guy, it was played by an actor named Colin. He's got to start at one end at the beginning of the hallway. He's got to get to the end of the hallway. And in between there, he's going to have 2 preservers apiece that he deals with, and like 3 or 4 other, there's like, I think 5 or 6 other people, like tactical officers that he was going to have to deal with. And he has to get through all of them and get to the end of the hall. You decide how that's going to happen. I'm going to go work on lighting. So I never met anybody. Colin's a super nice guy. I've worked with him on a couple different projects, but no fight experience. He's an older guy, but his character, he's like some special ops guy that's forgotten everything and is starting to come back to him. So that's kind of the frame I have to work with. I have 4 hours to get this guy looking like Jason Bourne, and I also have to make up the choreography as I go. And not only do I have to do that, I have to do the same thing with the 4 or 5 other people that there's going to be fight scenes with. So we have to teach them the choreography, try to like tell them how to sell it to make it look like you're actually fighting when none of them have really fought in their lives before, and make it look really badass in a couple hours. So it was a tall order. It was a really great challenge. But because of how we worked together, and because I really got on with the director there, Reese Evaneshan, who's a really cool guy, he brought me on to another future project, which is called For the Sake of Vicious, and we'll be finishing up with that one after we look at Defective here. So here's just some more screenshots from Defective. So there we go. I have Derek Peels to my left there, or to picture left. He's also another pro stuntman. I worked with him on a bunch of different things. Really nice guy. He used to be a Hamilton Tiger Cat, if that concerns anyone. In the middle there is Nick Smith. He is one of the main actors in this film, and he was also the lead, one of the leads in For the Sake of Vicious. So again, it's you find your crew that you like to work with, and you kind of stick with them through all the different productions you do, because if you find someone you like working with and does a good job, you tend to keep them on. And there's me. And this was in some storage, one of those like self-storage units in like Kitchener or Waterloo or Cambridge or something. There's me and Colin there. You can see the helmet I had on the right there in my arm. This is after the big hallway fight scene, all the blood splatter. You're going to see why there's all the blood splatter. Now, the thing I'll say about those helmets is you put it on, and the little glass eye that you can see on the left of the mask there was basically made out of some sort of like plexiglass. And if you breathe in that thing, it fogs up. So you can't see a fucking thing. Some of these scenes we're running after people, we're running down flights of stairs, and you literally cannot see a thing because there's just so much condensation, so much fog. So it made doing the fight really, really challenging. Because you got to memorize the choreography and hope the other guy gets it right, because you're going in blind. Here's a little selfie I took on the floor there after a shotgun blast, which you will see. And this was, again, one of the really cool directors to work with. What do we have there? One of the cool directors to work with, because they give you that basically total creative control. They have a couple of what they call gags. They want to hit, like, we need him to do this, we need him to get to this point. But basically it's like you decide how it goes, and whatever you say, they do. And so in this one, I remember, we're going to do this, we're going to fire this shot, we're going to do this stab. And then you got makeup and special effects are like working right then and there. And because this director is big on practical effects, so there are some CG kind of augmented effects, but most of it's practical effects. So it's like, hey, I'm going to take a shotgun, I'm going to blow this guy's head off. And so they got a guy working on a blood cannon and working on how to like shoot brains across the floor with like practical effects, like on the spot, because you said we're going to do that. It's just really cool. And it was just really an exercise in teamwork, right? It's like you feel what a director feels on a larger level, or a producer. It's like, I want this story to be told in this way, and you have the whole team come together and dedicate themselves towards that effort. Well, in a smaller sense, to coordinate in a big fight scene, you have the actors, you have the stunt performers, you have makeup, you have lighting, you have script supervisors for continuity, right? Because you take, a 1 minute fight scene, 2 minute fight scene takes 14, 15 hours to film. after lunch break, you got to make sure that the guy's lying in the hallway the same way. You got to make sure that the black eye is the same, that this blood drip is the same. And so you have people watching for that. So all the stuff that goes together to make it happen is just really cool. And it's really exciting to have a group of people come together and just kind of contribute to your vision that way. And it was such a friggin' rush. And I think this movie is the one that got me really addicted to it. And it was so much fun. The Legend of Nelda Tears of the Incel says, let's go. Yes, let's go indeed, sir. Okay, where are we? More photos. Do I have more photos here? Yep. Here we have kind of the team. So on the left, there's me. Beside me is Colin. Beside Colin is the director, Reese. We have Darcy, one of the stunt guys behind there. You have a couple of the other guys in the back. The three to the right, I don't remember the names. They were all stunt performers. And in the front there with the blood all over his face is Andrew Wood. He was actually our firearms wrangler for this. So he got all the firearms were fake firearms. They were like airsoft or things like that, or just prop guns. But he was the one that was kind of instructing us on how to use them, etc. And I think that is the last photo I have from Defective. So I have a couple of fight scenes from Defective. I'm just going to show you the one. It was the big one in the hallway. Like I said, I showed up on set. Hey, here's Colin. Here's the people. Hey, nice to meet you. Never met anyone before. Okay, so we have him. He's going to walk in the hallway here. He's got to get to the hallway there. And he's just got a bunch of people in his way. He's got to get through. However that happens is up to you. I'm going to go set up lights. When we're ready, we'll let you know. So you have a couple hours really just to kind of choreograph the whole thing and to make it happen. And it was just really fun. So if you had more time and more prep work, wasn't showing up on the day, meeting everybody. If I knew ahead of time that I was going to be choreographing at this, you can kind of plan ahead and make it a little bit better. But low budget film was super fun to work on. And I'm yabbering too much now. So without further ado, I will bring out Defective. Defective, where are you? Here you go. Okay, so in the first part of the scene here, actually, Colin backs through the door in the hallway and bumps into one of those preservers of peace. That's me. That's in that preservers of peace uniform. So I'm the first one that he fights with, and I don't think I was the last one he fought with. Maybe I might have been two preservers of peace. I know for sure I was the first one. I know for sure that I was the first one that he fought with. So anyways, you'll see it here. I digress. Yeah, that's me standing there. And again, you can see really good the eyepiece there. You can see through one eye. It's my left eye, but you actually can't see a thing because it's already fogged up, has condensation in there. So you're just basically hoping that it looks okay on the outside. You're hoping you don't trip over anything. You're hoping you don't accidentally punch anybody. But here we go. Colin's fight with Darcy. My favorite part of the scene coming right up. So that was fun. Now, you can see that everything happened really slow there. I like the fights to happen at a faster pace, but again, you just showed up. No one has ever thrown a punch in their life before. So you work with what you got, and I thought they did a great job, all considering, and we had a lot of fun. working on the rest of that movie. So Defective 2017, you could actually find that one on Amazon Prime. If you're a subscriber to Amazon Prime, it is available to you there. Excuse me while I take a quick break and pour another coffee. The temperature has cooled down a bit up here in Valley View right now, so my office isn't hot as balls like it was last week and the week prior. I can have a hot drink and not die. So yeah, that was Defective. I worked in another film as a stunt performer. I just went in for one day. It was called The Demolisher. It was also with Ryan starring, and it had Gabriel Carrer as director. And I went in just one day to basically throw a couple punches and get hip thrown onto the ground, like shoulder thrown onto the ground. And it was a very short role in a very visually appealing movie called The Demolisher, filmed in Toronto largely, although I went to Hamilton for my part. And those two directors, Gabe and Reese, are both from the Waterloo, Cambridge, Kitchener, Tri-State area in Ontario. And so they actually were working on a project in 2019 called For the Sake of Vicious. And they wanted the most epically violent movie you could possibly make, like no holds barred, all of the blood, all the gore, all the violence. It was kind of it was a home invasion film, and I have a secret love for home invasion films. You know, Straw Dogs is one of my favorite ones. You know, they can get very uncomfortable, but home invasion films are awesome. It takes place on Halloween, so it's a Halloween film, home invasion film. So at first they had the plan where they were going to have this guy is holding another guy hostage in this nurse's home. So there you kind of have this weird setup where it's like a hostage scenario. This nurse, single mom, comes home from work, finds this crazy guy holding this guy hostage in the house, and the plot point is that he's accusing him of having RAPED his daughter, who's like 8 or 9 or something like that at the time. So that's kind of the premise of why he kidnapped him and held him in the house. Check out the movie For the Sake of Vicious. You can rent it on some different services. It's I'm actually really proud of it. I mean, it's only an 80-minute film. The first half is like a slow burn, and then when the invaders get in, then it goes fucking ape shit. So again, I had a lot of my friends come out and help on this. The entire stunt team was my friends, and so that was a lot of fun. And again, they just really threw themselves into it, both literally and figuratively, and made me look really awesome as a stunt coordinator, fight choreographer. And I think it really made the movie a success. And actually, at some of the different movie festivals, Fright Fest in London, we got Best Sustained Violence Award. We also got the award for Best Ensemble, and that would not have happened. Both the actors, by the way, in this movie, the actors did, let me change the banner there. The actors did all of their own stunts. And of course, the stuntmen came in and were basically treated like actors because we're major characters in the film. Now, the original plan was to have it be like a TAC team, a SWAT team come in. And then we thought, like, wouldn't it be awesome if we just made it like bikers and nobody has a gun? There's one gun that the main character hides and uses, but nobody else has a gun. It's all just like fisticuffs and whatnot. So that was really exciting because I got to plan the fights around the objects that were around in the house. Now, the cool thing about this production was that we were shooting at an actual home, an actual house in Cambridge that was going to be demolished in 2 weeks. So they were going to bring in the friggin' wrecking crew, and they were going to tear down the house to rebuild another one on the plot in 2 weeks. So the sad news was we had 2 weeks to film this thing. The cool thing was we could blow the place up, we could destroy it, we could smash all the glass. It didn't matter because they were going to be tearing the house down anyways. So that gave us permission to completely obliterate the house in whatever way we saw fit. And that we did, as you'll see. Now, this picture here, this is a werewolf. So this was at, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name, something effects. I'm so sorry, Phil. It was a Creature Effects shop in Hamilton, and I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, and I'm so sorry. But this is a shop in Hamilton that's actually done Carlos Enriquez. Carlos Enriquez is the guy that does this stuff. And they've had some major productions that they've donated their stuff to. The reason I'm showing this is because I had to go here to get my eye. I'm going to show this one. I had to get my eye. You'll see in the movie I get a hammer in the eye, and so I had to get an eye patch, kind of like they're going to put a blood cannon in here, and it's going to get like an eye, look like it got mashed with a hammer. So they had to fit me with some latex and stuff, which you'll see in a minute. But I wanted to show some of this cool stuff. This is an actual bust used in Friday the 13th Part 7. Like from the actual set that they actually made, which was cool. I think, was it Black Christmas or Black Saturday or something like that? This was a famous horror movie where this lady gets hung up on like a shower head. And this was actually a prop from the actual movie they used. And I just thought, went around the shop, took some pictures of some of the other cool stuff. I like that one. Hello, Mr. Werewolf. Coming up from inside here. You recognize this guy, good old Arnie. Here we go. So I had to get my face fitted with prosthetics here, and so first they basically lube you up with like Vaseline, and then they put basically this quick dry rubber goo on you, and then they plaster you shut. Of course, they make sure your nostrils are free for breathing. There's Carlos there. Butcher Shop Effects. Thank you for t-shirt. Butcher Shop Effects. Check them out in Hamilton. They're pretty badass. Sorry about that, Carlos. This was actually shot on the last day of filming, but it was actually the opening scene of the movie. And I think this was in the director Gabriel's parents' garage, like his dad's actual. He has a mechanic, an actual garage, and this is some dead bodies laying there, looking up at the camera there. There's me with the two directors. There's Gabriel is in the hat there, and the skull and sword crossbone sweater, and then Reese on the other side. So nicest guys you could ever meet. Super awesome to work with. Once again, they trust you as the stunt coordinator. They trusted me, and they trusted me with running the show in terms of stunts and violence and fight choreography. Like, you know what you're doing, you do your thing, we'll do ours. And just an absolute pleasure to work with. Guys, it'd be a pleasure to work with you again one day. If you ever have another feature, these guys are fucking awesome. Here you have Reese, Nick, Colin, and it's probably my buddy Adam there in the kitchen there. So you're looking behind Colin's head, you can see some blood on the cabinets there. Here's a closer shot. These were from Squibs. We had some special effects, actual explosives there. And I remember, you'll see one of the scenes. I'm standing beside this thing, and they offered everybody in the set ear protection for the explosions that are going to happen. I'm like, I know, I'll be fine. So they blow the fucking thing, and ringing in my ear, it hurt my ears. It was so loud, and I had ringing in my ears for the rest of the day, and probably caused some significant hearing damage in my right ear. So that's the reason I tell my wife why I don't hear what she says. Definitely because of my time as a stunt coordinator, not because of my selective hearing. But yeah, wear ear protection. If you're ever in that situation, just fucking take the ear protection. Trust me, it is worth it. Here is a mirror, and all this stuff you'll see in the fight scenes there. Here's a mirror that my buddy Adam, you can see him being choked there in the mirror there. There's Nick is in the hat choking him. There's Boris in the background giving you the finger with his shirt off. Epic photo. So the reason that's an epic photo, that mirror, in the choreography, I have my friend Adam be thrown into the mirror and break the mirror. Throw him into the mirror doesn't fucking break. We're filming, like all live on the day. Throw him into the mirror again, mirror doesn't break. We did it like 4 or 5 times, the mirror didn't break. So I finally went in, I had a little glass breaker bracelet, and I went and I broke some pieces on the mirror, some like corners, to start the crack, so that when he goes again, it will break. One more time, it doesn't break. I'm like, Jesus. Director says, okay, look, we're wasting time here. You have one more shot for this to work, or we're not doing it. And the other thing that added the drama to this is because he was going to be smashing into an actual mirror, there's going to be actual glass going everywhere. We have the safety talk. If he gets cut, here's how we're going to leave. We're going to get this ride to this hospital. We're actually really close to a hospital. Thank God no one ever needed it during the entire production. But yeah, so it was like this 10-minute safety talk. You're quiet, you listen, you're doing this. Here's the rules. Everyone's understands. We're on the same page. And then thing doesn't even fucking break. So it was actually kind of hilarious. But after the 5th or 6th take, I finally broke. We got that on film, and you'll see that in a little bit as well. So I lived in Toronto at the time. It was filmed in Cambridge, so that's a good 1.5 hour, 2 hour drive depending on your traffic. And so here's me and my buddy Adam. The way I got this project is I was working full time in executive security, and I couldn't take the time off to go be a part of this production. I only had certain days off. So I brought my friend Adam on to be a co-stunt coordinator, a stunt co-coordinator, to basically run the show when I was not there. So the directors were satisfied that they had somebody that knew what they were doing on set for safety and just for checking things and making sure things were done right. This is one of those scenarios where we had a little bit of planning and leeway time. So Adam came up to my house. We practiced in the garage. So normally, you not having eyes on the actual set and the actual house, we'd plan the fights, and then on the day when we get on the set, we kind of adjust it to fit the environment, right? Like, oh, we were going to smash you over here, but there's no covers there, so we're going to change it to this. But basically, you have that basic structure that you can work off of, and so that was really cool. So Adam did a great job at that, and yeah, we'll talk about the fight scenes as we go, but that was just a little shot on our way out from Toronto to Cambridge there. Here was our green room. This is the director. There's Boris on the left. Boris came out to be a stunt performer as well, did an amazing job. He runs a business in Toronto called TrueNorthTradecraft.ca. Check it out. He is Canada's, and I don't even think you'd argue this, he's Canada's leading counter custody specialist. So we're talking about getting out of handcuffs, zip ties, covert shit like that. Very, very knowledgeable. Check him out. And then there's, of course, Adam there on the right drawing a picture of a fucking teddy bear, I guess. There's us in the green room. I'm having my St. Hortons, and there's us in the green room again. Like I said, there's a lot of downtime on sets. They're filming another scene where you're not needed, or they're preparing a set for about a big fight scene or something. So we're chilling out there. Yeah. Here is me showing Nick how to do a break fall on the foam mats. So anytime you have the foam mats on the floor, or when you're doing like a big fall, you usually land on one of those, usually. So actually, yeah. So when I talk about from going back to Extraction Day, being thrown over the guy's head height onto the floor, it was onto one of those, not even two. It was onto one of those. So, and it wasn't even the landing that I was worried about so much. It was what am I going to hit on the way down? But yeah, so here I was just showing Nick how to do an appropriate break fall, how to land, how to do it, how to sell it, etc. Here we have Nick and Boris kind of behind the scenes during one of the scenes where Nick slits his throat. You'll see that. There's Boris getting his prosthetics applied by Carlos from Butcher Shop Effects for the throat slit. There he is after it happened. And there's the mess it left on the floor. So when I say we demolished this house, we demolished this house. Absolutely. There's, I can't tell if that's Adam or Nick with Nick. So Nick is the actor there, Nick Smith, excuse me, spelled with a Y. And then that's one of the stunt guys there, of course, with a mask on. It's hard to tell. There's Adam. In one of the scenes, he does remove his mask. He has a little black eye there and a Band-Aid on his nose for effect. That's not real. This is one of the scenes where one of the stunt guys gets glass in his hand. I think that's is that Adam? No, that's Nick. Yeah, sorry, that's Nick. So that's all fake glass glued there and fake blood, but it looks like he got glass all shoved in his hands there. This was just we're bored on set, and we took a set. This Boris there sitting made like a sad Skeletor meme here. Here's the prosthetic I got on my eye. You can see the tube coming out of my ear, from behind my ear. So that's going to be shooting the blood out from my eye socket there. Excuse me. And yeah, so there I am with a hammer in my eye. And again, we'll see the fight scenes here in a minute. There's Gabe in the back. So this is the bathroom that we tore apart. This is where that big fight scene happened in the bathroom. There's us in the tub. You'll get that. So here we go. So here's the bathroom. This was actually not even a bathroom. This is entirely constructed for the movie. This was actually a kid's bedroom. They gutted it and they put a bathroom. So that toilet isn't connected to anything. That's just like a toilet sitting there. Everything that you see was put in here for the sake of the movie, for this one scene. So that was really cool. And after the fact, after we got done with it, that's what it looked like. And another shot of the floor by the toilet. So it was quite an awesome fight scene. Here we have Boris, Nick, Adam, and myself. This was the stunt crew for the For Sake of Vicious. And once again, these guys did me a real solid by coming out and just throwing their all into it. And they all had a blast. Super cool. I thought it was really cool to be able to play the main villain. See, I have that motorcycle helmet there. If you look in the movie poster of For the Sake of Vicious, it's that character is on the front, and I got to play that character, so that was really cool. And on the last day of filming there, this is kind of the rest of the crew there. You have Makeup Dara in the back, the blonde girl. She was makeup and special effects makeup. You have the actors there. You have some of the producers there. The guy in the bottom left, I believe he was our sound guy, and he did amazing sound. Christian Burgess there at the front beside Colin. You have some of our, I'm drawing a blank on their names. Alex on the far bottom right was one of our camera operators. Peter Zabo right above him, he was one of the producers. You have Gabriel there, myself, and Reese at the back. The girl right in the middle there is Reese's wife, Erin. They all were amazing to work with. Yeah, I was working through all these movies. I was working with, people maybe of different political ideologies, different political worldviews, but nobody gave a fuck because we were all just about the work, all about the movie, and so that was really cool. There was some times where there's some conversations had where I'm like, I should probably leave the room now before I say something that makes you all hate me. And so, because as you guys know, probably at this point, I have a hard time holding my tongue, but I did so. I did so in this case because I was just having so much fun on set. So I have 3 fight scenes I'm going to show you from this movie. One is the living room fight scene. One is the kitchen fight scene. And one is the bathroom fight scene. I'm going to give you a little preamble to both of them. So the living room fight scene is the first one. It's when the invaders first come into the home. So again, it's an 80-minute film. You basically have 40 minutes of like slow burn, build the story, build the drama, build your attachment to the characters. And then the last half of the movie is absolute pandemonium. And you'll see what I mean with this living room fight scene. I believe, now this is the first one. First one in the movie. Okay. No. Kitchen fight scene's the first one. My bad. Okay, kitchen fight scene's the first one. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, and this is where you'll also see the squibs I'm talking about that basically deafened me. One of the things you'll see the main character Nick. He comes in and he's pointing a revolver at us, and when he was shooting, he's just shooting it. And I'm like, when you shoot it, like kind of like jerk it a little bit, like it has some force, and then blink your eyes as well. So when you see the barrel move, like the gun kicks, and when you see him blink, that was because I said you should probably, because again, it's just click, click, click. And there was nothing actually coming out. So they had to superimpose like the gunfire. And so when they did that, you want him to actually give a reaction. So he kicks the gun a bit and blinks his eyes. And I thought it was really convincing. So anyways, here we go. Let's watch this kitchen fight scene. You'll see the squibs there. I'm the guy. We're both masked, so you don't know. I'm the guy on the left of the screen. My buddy Adam's on the guy on the right of the screen. Right in front of us is Colin. He's like the main bad guy in the movie. And then you have Laura, who is a fucking awesome trooper on this movie. Did all her own stunts, did great acting. And she is the blonde girl. She's the single mom nurse that's kind of the lead of the whole movie. So here we go. Kitchen fight scene For the Sake of Vicious. Yeah, that's me on the left. Adam's on the right. Here we go with the gun. There we go. Those are the scripts that deafened me. He realizes what he's just done. Again, that's post-production voiceover by the director. That's Reese's voice. All right, sorry to interrupt here. So that you just see him hit me with it's with a T-tin. And of course, I was telling him to hit me with the flat of the T-tin. he hit me with the corner of it. And this is another one of those takes where they wanted like 17 fucking takes. So I still have a scar on my head to this day from this tjken. Drew blood, so I was bleeding down the side of my head, and we bandaged it up and still keep it going like far too many times. We did the take a lot. So that was fun. So that was the kitchen scene. Yeah. So again, you see that gun kick and you see the blink and those squibs that went off. There's the two that were put in the cupboard. There was one that was put on like the little spice rack behind above the stove. And there was actually a squib put on top of Adam's stomach there. So when you see it blow through the shirt, that was a squib actually blowing. And I don't even think there was any augmented. The only thing that was augmented was the gunfire and the sound of the gun. All the blood you saw was practical effects. These directors were big on practical effects. So everything you see was like shot in camera, which I really appreciate. I really appreciate practical, especially in horror. It's just supposed to be a horror. It's more like an action thriller, but I really appreciate the practical effects. Next up, and I'm showing you these in chronological order as how they happen in the film, is the bathroom fight scene. So a couple things to say about this. One, bathroom completely constructed. They had to lift that heavy ass tub up the stairs. They got stuck at in the midway point on the little like platform where the stairs turn direction. So they finally got the tub up there. They set up the whole bathroom. That one photo right here where you see us three in the bathtub. We have to end up in that bathtub there all together. And the floor is like super thin. I was legitimately worried that we were going to fall through the floor in the bathtub, a la Money Pit style. And if you remember that scene from the Money Pit when the tub falls through the floor, like I seriously thought it was going to happen. It was a super small bathroom, man, super tight. And there was 4 of us in there, and I had to choreograph a fight for 4 people. So 2 separate fights, basically, or this like dance between 4 people in this tiny little bathroom. And how do you do that? How do you film that? It was a real challenge. It was super fun. It was a really, really, really long day. I had to work early the next morning. I had to work at like 6 in the morning. So it was probably like midnight by the time I left there, and they were still going. So I'm the guy in the helmet, but at the very last part where that character gets his throat slit, I actually had to go for work to get home in time to get at least like a couple hours of sleep for work. So Gabriel, one of the directors, he actually stood in there. So it's actually his throat getting slit. And the reason I couldn't do it is because after we did most of the fight scene, then you had to go get the prosthetics applied and the makeup, and it would be another couple hours work. So while we were shooting, he was down, Reese was directing the bathroom there. He was down getting the prosthetics done. So after we were done most of the scene, when it was time for that, I fucked off and he fucked in and kind of was the throat slit. But seamless, you can't even really tell. There's the part in this scene where you'll see Laura. It grabs the toilet tank lid, has hit me in the head with it. I had her actually hit me in the head with that because I thought I have a motorcycle helmet on, I'm going to be okay, and I was. But it was one of those things again where they're doing multiple takes. So it's probably 4 or 5 times I've been smashed in the head with a toilet tank. And I told her, like, give it, like, rather than try to pull it and sell it. And we didn't have the budget. We didn't have the budget to get a fake one, like made out of foam or anything. So we just used a real toilet tank lid. And I'm like, I got a helmet and I'm good. So she hit me. All these head traumas during this movie probably explains a few things, I'm sure. But yeah, it was just super fun. Another mirror break. We got to do another mirror break on this one. That was really cool. The other mirror I showed you the photo of earlier, I said it never broke. You'll see that in the next scene. I'm just trying to think of anything else special about this scene. Oh yeah, the floor got incredibly sticky because of the fake blood everywhere. It just, everything was like super sticky. So yeah, that was really cool. Choreographed the entire fight. I thought it was one of the most exciting days on a movie set in my life. It may be the most exciting day in my life on a movie set, because once again, you get to create this magnum opus, this big fight scene between 4 people in a small space. You get the camera crew, the lighting, the makeup, the directors, the stunt guys, the actors, all on the same page, all trying to achieve your vision for the fight scene, which is a part of a larger vision for the movie from the directors. And again, really appreciate those directors for giving me essentially all creative control. The one thing I did want to say about this is when I mentioned before, they have gags or certain things they want you to hit on. You know, we know that you got to end up in the bathtub. We know that the gun has to go to this person at some time, and we know that you have to have a hammer in your eye at some point. So hit on those 3 things. The rest, whatever you want. So that's what I had to work with. I had to make sure those 3 things happen in some sort of sequence. But how we get from A to B to C is up to me. And so that was really cool. So here is the bathroom fight scene. Oh, bathroom fight scene. Bathroom, here it is. Okay, I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit as I'm walking up the stairs here. Here we go. Okay. Share screen for you guys. So there I am. Now this, I'm going to walk past just in a second a kid's bedroom door. See, I look here and I see the kids' drawings there. That's actually the actual bathroom for the whole, all the crew had to use that one bathroom, and I definitely clogged the toilet once. And our director was actually a plumber by trade, and so he was actually able to fix that. But yeah, man, I desecrated that place in more ways than one. Definitely with all the fake blood. So there's a fake bathroom right beside the real bathroom. Real bathroom was far too small to have even 2 people in. I like the lighting here. I was kind of red in the hallway where I am and kind of blue where they are. The warm and cold contrast. Nick and Laura have decided to team up at this point because they realize the home invaders are going to kill them both if they don't. So they'll fight together and then figure the rest out later. Yeah, this fight scene was definitely the most fun I've ever had on a movie set. Again with the squibs, practical effects.
All right, bitch.
That's Gabriel's voice. There's the hammer gag. Little game of cat and mouse here behind the bathtub. This is a fun little idea. There's the toilet tank lid. This is where I thought we were going to fall through the tub because we had probably a collective of 350, 400 pounds between the three of us falling on the tub. And the floor was really creaky and thin. And I thought we were going to go for a ride, but thankfully that didn't happen. So that's right there. We see the actual slice happening. That's actually the director's neck. I'm already gone off set and driving home for work in the morning at this point. Yeah, so that was super fun. Okay, I have one more scene to show you. It was closing scene, well, the end kind of fight scene of the movie. Cool thing is, we'd already planned out the fight scene. We'd already planned out the choreography. And my buddy Nick, we'd been working on this film, but we hadn't seen each other in a while before this film. So we wanted to actually catch up, like personally hang out. So it's like, hey, why don't we hang out and grab a whiskey and we'll hang out. So we went and got a bottle of whiskey. We slept in the green room that night on set. And actually I slept on set in the house. One of them slept in the trailer and two of us slept in the house. And but we almost polished off an entire bottle between the three of us. And that was Adam, Nick, and myself. And then that night, drunk as a skunk, we choreographed an entirely new scene on set. So the fight scene you're about to watch was coordinated by three super hammered guys on set the night before we actually filmed it. And it was so much fun. So much fun. Now there's one part, remember I said my friend Adam had to take over on the days I wasn't there. There was one, there's just kind of a blend of 2 different days, 2 different scenes. So there's a living room component and there's a kitchen component. The kitchen component is a one take. They do it all in one take. And that was all of Adam's choreography because they had to, for some reason, it escapes me right now why the reason was, they had to change some of the choreography on the day. And so he choreographed a whole new thing and they did it all in one take. So that was really special too. So credit to Adam for that. So this is actually 2 different days of filming. Sewn into one, and Adam choreographed the one take kitchen component. I choreographed the living room component, and we'll see what you guys think. So this is kind of the closing fight scene, anyways, of For the Sake of Vicious. Here we go.
No, let him go. You let him go!
Fuck. Someone fucking get her. Someone fucking run!
I'm sorry.
There's the mirror that I'm talking about. There it is, that magical take that finally broke the mirror after like 100,000 tries. So that was what all the big fuss was about. So this is really cool. Oh, by the way, that was a breakaway table. So it was actually a prop table. So it wasn't being smashed in the ribs with it. We had motocross armor underneath the whole time. So that we did have that kind of shielding. But that was a breakaway table that just got hit within the ribs there. Oh, just water, by the way. Right there. So this is the transition that is the one take. This is the part that I didn't choreographed. Then it goes back, I think, to some living room that I choreographed. And the editors did a really good job of, I think it was Reese, actually, the director that edited as well, did a really good job of stitching it together. And you don't even notice that it's 2 different days entirely stitched into one. Really good job. I remember the directors weren't sure about doing that. I'm like, hey, why doesn't he pick up the TV screen, the flat screen, pick up the TV screen? Like, are we allowed to break the TV? Yeah, we can break everything. Pick up the TV screen and smash his head with it. And they weren't sure about it, but they ended up going with it, and I thought it was great. Same with the choking with the Christmas lights. I thought that'd be really cool, and they included that as well. So really appreciate the directors, taking my suggestions and putting them on screen. Really fucking cool of them. There's Boris's big throat slit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of Vicious, that was actually the last film I'd worked on. I didn't get the magic medicine time. Oh, I'll do it over here so you can see, the thing. And so I was kind of not allowed on set. There's a couple of projects I had to turn down that I turned away to some of my friends in the industry that I knew did get the special magic juice. And so they got the jobs I had to pass on. And then shortly thereafter, that was filmed in October 2019, or October 2020. No, October 2019. So it was November, December, January, February, March. 5 months after that, that's when lockdown started. So we got that in just in the nick of time, just before the pandemic. The movie really suffered from the COVID lockdowns and stuff because nobody can go to a theater, so we had to do like online releases, online festivals. So it didn't really get the theater viewing that it deserved. But you guys, do me a favor, just for shits and giggles, go find that movie on whatever platform you can and check it out. For the sake of Vicious, you can see it up here on the screen. It was just a whole lot of fun, and it was my last movie that I made. Now, when I came out to Alberta, I kind of took a step behind the camera and now do filmmaking. So some short documentary films, I get my turn as a documentary filmmaker, and met some really great crew out here. The Monkman Pass documentary I mentioned, I got to be a camera operator on that and go through that amazing 73.98 to be exact kilometer hike through the Monkman Pass into the bush there. And again, I don't want to tell you too much about it because I'm going to bring the crew on August 22nd on the show. We're going to talk all about that production and all about that experience, which is really awesome. All right, I'm about to tuck it out, guys. I appreciate you coming and watching today. I hope you had fun. I hope you were entertained if you didn't learn anything. And that was just a stroll through memory lane to show you about my my independent film career there before I came out to Alberta. So that's kind of what it's like behind the scenes on stunts, doing stunts on film. It's a lot of fun. I do recommend it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. And best fun you could have with clothes on, right? Anyways, appreciate you guys. Please don't forget to check out my Substack, tjkennedyphoto.substack.com. I appreciate your support there, whether you're a free or a paid subscriber. But if you are a paid subscriber, you are definitely helping a brother out. And also every Thursday, again, last month was a bit of an anomaly because of all the projects on the go when I was away on that expedition. But every Thursday here at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be here with either myself or an awesome guest. And again, August 22nd, we have the Monkman Pass expedition crew that's going to be on, and we're going to talk about that amazing experience. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to let you go. You have a wonderful night. Stay safe, have fun, and I have no special sign-off phrase, but go drink some raw milk. That's what I'll tell you to do. All right, pleasure, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful night.